Hello everyone, friends. Thank you for visiting Bitcoin Adept. Today we will talk about the price of Bitcoin and why you won't earn anything in this crypto market. And most likely you'll even lose, as you all know that only 5 to 7% of participants make money here. And at the same time, in this video, I will tell you how to become part of that 5%, those people who make money in the crypto market. Moreover, I will share this absolutely for free. You could say my entire experience. 25 years all of investing and trading, and this will allow you to look at the crypto market, the stock market, any market, from a completely different perspective. And it will significantly clarify, you could say, your understanding. So look, we are currently in this kind of sideways market. This is a weekly chart. Let's switch to it, connect it. The nearest 4-hour time frame. And we see, yes, this sideways market. Now it will load, and first of all, here it is in its entirety. And for the last 2 weeks, we've been in this kind of fluctuation. And I'll explain later why exactly the big players do this. Yes, this entire long fluctuation. And now let's quickly go over the nearest targets for Bitcoin. And for this, the side volumes where Bitcoin stayed the longest will help us. So we now see that these side volumes where the main accumulation of Bitcoin took place. We are currently in the middle of this zone. And after we reached the upper zone and descended to this middle, we always went down afterwards. And this happened more than once. We rose again to the upper zone, not exactly to the upper, but if you look at this middle part of the accumulation, that's how it all happened. After this zone, back to the middle part, we went down again. Recently, we were in this upper zone for a long time. Now we are trading in the middle. And my thoughts haven't changed. My forecasts remain the same as from these values, or slightly lower from the area, of $90,000, $89,000. We can go up after a small dip to these previous values of ours and then even higher. So this is of course all good, but at what point can we go lower and where will we have a reversal? Let's quickly now connect my signal indicators, see what signals they give us, and then move on to the main part of my video. So the 4-hour chart, we mainly observe strong signals, downward, but I have already shown you that there is this kind of fluctuation, so we can do it a few more times. Make a move like this. Let's look at more medium term time frames on the 12-hour chart. On the same signal indicator, Ishimoku Cloud Adept, here we have all strong signals. Downward, that is the indicator suggests that after this fluctuation we might go a bit lower. So that's regarding the Ishimoku Cloud Adept. Let's move on to the next signal indicator, Golden Grail 225. Currently we have no signals. There was a sell signal, but that was a while ago. Let's click through to a more local time frame, the 4-hour one. Here, the same, yes, no signals yet. Let's look at the 8-hour chart. I'm interested in the moment when a buy signal will form, as it will mean that a reversal might also be possible. Currently, there is no signal. So let's move on to the last signal indicator, Bitcoin Adept Bike NCL. Let's look at the 8-hour chart. We had a buy signal here. Yes, on the squeeze at the reversal. Currently, there is no sell signal, but it is quite likely that it will appear either on this candle or the next one. And let's look at the overall global ones. Let's check the signals on the 3-day chart. It will load around 12 strategies there. For this indicator, for Bitcoin AD BNCL, there is no signal yet. Only a sell signal was present, but we are interested in the signal that will form on this candle or the next one. Guys, I strongly recommend installing all my signal indicators. It's absolutely free. In the video description, it explains how to do this to navigate the market movements. Also join our trading chats. So that's regarding Bitcoin and its signals. And now to the main part of my video, specifically about why you won't make money on Bitcoin, altcoins, or the alt season that many are eagerly waiting for, and how to join. The group of people who can profit from this, watch. First of all, you need to understand that Bitcoin is cyclical with upward movements following downward movements, and then upward again and downward. And this happens every 4 years, and guys, you can't deny it. Every 4 years a halving occurs. There is a force that drives Bitcoin up, which then dumps it down, forcing us to constantly jump into Bitcoin or altcoins at peak values and sell everything at the lowest values. And these cycles, guys, can be observed everywhere, in the stock market, in the real estate market, and in various other financial systems. And if we understand certain moments where we are being caught off guard, we can profit from all of this. That is, look, since we are considering Bitcoin and altcoins, first of all, you need to understand that these are purely manipulative assets. That is, these are not some real assets where you need to exert various efforts to dump or pump them. But with these assets like Bitcoin and some altcoins, it is done much more easily. On various rumors, on news, I mean pumps and dumps, even though nothing real is happening there. But the asset can either go up or down, and you experience certain emotions. That is, you are made to feel these certain emotions. For example, if we take the last cycle of Bitcoin, I will show you now using the example of the last cycle. Then we will move to the present day, as they say. We will take altcoins, the main ones like Ethereum. Why it doesn't grow significantly, doesn't shoot to the moon. And look, those who witnessed the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, here everyone was being pushed into Bitcoin, into various altcoins. There was a strong euphoria. People entered this asset and then sat and waited for it to grow. At some point they averaged all this during the decline, and then such a situation occurred. A movement down, a movement up, it grows back, then again, a movement down. That is, after the downward movement, a person experienced a certain euphoria. Right here at locally maximum values, when the asset, in this case Bitcoin, grew back, after which it fell. The person experienced grief and apathy. Since this is a weekly chart, each candle represents 1 week, all of this happened over quite a long period. And you understand, right? These psychological swings, when a person feels apathy, then joy, again, euphoria again as the asset grows back. Then apathy again, and the person is led along a certain scenario like this. He experiences joy and then sorrow, and the brain. It's not eternal, it wants to get rid of this. Because at some point the brain starts expecting repetition. These events, the fluctuations, and it absolutely doesn't like it. But the big player, as if training us with these repetitive events, so that at some point a person exits the market. Obviously he won't exit in a month or a month and a half, but if he's worn out for a long time, the person starts to sleep poorly and the brain automatically wants to shut it off. This whole story of being in the crypto market is further intensified. Firstly, by negative news that is introduced at the bottom of the market. Especially when the price goes down after that, that's one. Negativity comes in, there's a certain lull, and the person thinks, well, that's it. Firstly, negativity. Secondly, it all seems to be ending. That is, there's no interest in the market. Thirdly, he looks at his assets that he bought somewhere here, somewhere he averaged down. He sees that the assets have depreciated several times. And in doing so, the person destabilizes their psyche. I will further explain who this is mostly aimed at, who the target is, who will be exiting, and what to do about it. But this is only, guys, halfway, meaning almost everyone can endure a drawdown. That is, the person feels down, checks in, sees their assets going down, and the brain starts painting a picture for them. Such bleak pictures, that is what has been happening over the past year, specifically in the market. And in your brain, there is something called a defensive function. It can even come up with something regardless of what you want to do. It might suggest some kind of plan to you. For example, that, oh, you absolutely need something, that you need to pull money out of the market. In reality, it just doesn't want to experience these negative emotions. It wants to finally get some rest. So you exit the market. And if a person is weaker, if they are an inexperienced investor or trader, they will exit during some negative moments when it's like, that's it guys, I'm done with this. But those who are stronger can reach a break-even point or a small profit. And when they see that after all these movements, which they experienced as negative, they broke even, the person exits the market happily, closes the market, and they don't return to it in the near future. But there, are more resilient people who hold on. This is the plus. Well, it's still unknown where they entered. If they entered at the highs, then they haven't seen any profit yet. But if a person is more resilient, they get shaken out even further. The movement goes down again, the same joy, euphoria, then sorrow, apathy. That is, they start experiencing these negative emotions again. Moreover, already for 2 years, when Bitcoin is in this uncertain zone, then again the corona dump, and after the main downward movement, when a person sees, well, that's it, we've come back to the same level we came from, but they've experienced a lot of negative emotions, they decide either to exit soon or to exit at these recovery points, because this further part is not visible to the person, and they assume that we've come here, and just like from here, we will now fly down and maybe even lower. But the market sees that everyone, all the people who bought in here right at the highs, they exited at some point, either lower, at a loss, or broke even. During this time, the major players and whales bought everything from these people, yes, from the unprepared, you could say, investors. And now the price can be driven up without any passengers. And here it greatly depends on your emotional state. Well, firstly, on your age, how old you are, on whether your psyche is stable or unstable, shaken or healthy, on your various fears, on the situation you might currently be in, perhaps in some bad or disadvantageous position, on the financial aspect. That is, what those funds you invested in the market mean to you. If you are investing more money, then you're ready to lose at some point, as strange as it may sound. Yes, this well-worn phrase, don't invest more money than you are ready to lose, is a very important phrase. That is, if you invest a significant amount, you will very often come back to it, checking whether it has grown on these swings, and the more significant the amount, the more serious these swings will be, they will exhaust you. For example, if you put in 100 rubles, well, 100 rubles probably means nothing to anyone. You ride out these swings, you look, think, well, whatever, right? They don't affect you at all. But if you invest, for example, 10,000 rubles, you already have some interest. Well, some people have an interest, some don't have an interest in 10,000, but I'm just averaging here. That person already checks in from time to time thinking, well, if there's a pump, then great, I'll earn something, maybe 100, something. I'll go and at least update my phone. But if everything goes down, it's not so scary. I'll lose 10,000. Okay, so it wears you out a little bit, yes, like that. A little negativity, a little positivity again, but nothing terrible. But imagine that it happens if a person, for example, sells a car or takes out a large stash from the bank deposit, invests in crypto or a property, or takes a loan. In no case does he advise you guys to do this, especially if you're not prepared for it, and most likely you're not prepared if such thoughts are crossing your mind. And if you invest money in Bitcoin or other altcoin assets, it will be very difficult for a person to endure these moments. Especially when everything goes down, yes, especially when everything grows and then everything goes down again. If they hold on until a certain point, it will be until the break-even point. And they will exit the market, crossing themselves, and then the market will continue without them. That is, even if a person bought at any point, it is difficult for them to reach the unloading point. Well, of course, there are random passengers, and there are, of course, people prepared for this, for the market, who can endure any losses. There are people with large amounts of money who invest, for example, without monitoring the market every day, and it's easy for them to wait it out. All these downward movements that occurred, upward movements, they enter, for example, after a month or 3, the price is such and such, all right. They enter again in half a year, like that. Great! So this kind of story works precisely in these 4-year cycles. It's no coincidence. They are made 4-year cycles. It's not done because it's such a great asset. Bitcoin, some Satoshi, someone made it for someone. I think it's the brainchild of the US Federal Reserve. No matter what anyone says, I've already expressed my thoughts on this in previous videos. Exactly 4 years past, this time 3-5 years for a person to forget their bitterness, losses. A new generation of investors grows up, especially since even miners can enter crypto, which I certainly do not recommend doing. That is, the audience is constantly renewing, and those who entered here at the peak values, who endured the entire bear market and exited, most likely here, or exited at the bottom, they will not re-enter. Right here at this moment, they or will sit and watch as the train leaves without them. Since they exited, they sat through all of this. They cannot afford to exit and then a week, 2, or a month later return to the market. They will say, no, guys, we don't want to go through all of this again. And they return, quite likely already, at the highs. When there is strong hype again, with every YouTube channel shouting that Bitcoin will go to 1 million. Some of the people, those who were in this cycle, they enter again here at the highs. But the majority of people are newcomers, who will be taken for a ride again in this cycle. And as for those guys who entered a long time ago, for example, here, or here, they can't hold out these lower values that occur. But there are lucky ones who, for example, entered here at this moment when the market is negative. Well, something clicked for them, right? They decided to invest in Bitcoin, let's say. And Bitcoin went up. And this, guys, is not a widespread phenomenon. Investing at this point, and secondly, even if a person invested, they won't be able to exit at these peak values. Because here, greed will take over. Here, a positive news background comes into play. Everyone is told that Bitcoin will continue to plummet. And a person enters here, for example, at $12,000, and they don't want to close at an average. Here's the $50,000. Yes, they keep waiting for it to go higher and higher, especially as they see their deposit growing and that there is a large influx of investments from others. New people come to the market and the person keeps sitting, holding on for too long. Until Bitcoin goes down, and again, when Bitcoin goes down, the person thinks, a week ago I had, for example, enough money for an apartment that I could have already bought. The person already visualizes something, and now I can only afford to buy a garage. Let me sit and think again. Bitcoin goes up again. The person feels euphoria again. Their eyes fill with excitement. The person expects Bitcoin to go up again. But Bitcoin goes down again just the same. And everything else, the situation, keeps getting worse and worse. Now let's switch to Ethereum. I'll show you what movements it shows. Yes, how it shakes out the newcomers. And this is our logarithmic chart. Yes, it will probably be more digestible for beginners. And this is not logarithmic. This is the maximum value for Ethereum. Many are asking why Ethereum isn't growing now. And look at the movement happening with Ethereum. It's no secret that many have invested in Ethereum. I know firsthand from the chats. At maximum values, not even just at the maximum, from $3,500 to $4,500. And only then did they average down when the movement was definitely going down. This also exhausted them greatly. At some point, they felt joy, a slight euphoria, depending again on the amount they invested. Down again and again, depression, apathy, grief, then some upward movement, euphoria again, and then depression, apathy. And it doesn't matter that the asset is gradually increasing in price. This price is still lower than when the person entered, somewhere at the peaks, but they endure it for a very long time. These negative feelings, again, they go up, and again, this candle goes down. And the brain gets tired of participating in this, yes. Its protective functions kick in again. You see, yes, these squeezes down again, up again. Moreover, at the beginning, the movements are not so strong, not so sweeping, but later they shake out very strongly. And not everyone can withstand this, both in terms of time and movements. Again, if we connect Bitcoin now, I will show you that this is, again, not a logarithmic chart. And look, at the beginning of the movement, they were not so strong, shaking out little by little over time. But the movements became more sweeping. Do you see this sideways movement? There were already squeezes here, stronger ones. Further, you see, yes, this lasted for more than half a year. This was happening, swinging up, down, up, down. Can you imagine the emotions a person experienced throughout this entire period? And at the moment when the price came down and turned around, a person right here, well, a certain group of people closed out. That is, they sold their assets, crossed over, and left the market. Again, the price went down, and the person thought, well, I did the right thing. Then the next group would come in, close their positions, meaning they sold off, and the market, just like that, would go up without these people. And even from these levels where there is again some fluctuation, and even stronger fluctuation, it has only just begun. And if we return to the air, then this is where all this stuff happens. It is very clearly and vividly observed. That is, Ethereum has exhausted everyone with its movements. But that's only because the system sees, for example, that there are many stubborn old investors who have already survived more than one cycle. They are sitting and still holding on. If these investors, different ones, I'm not talking about us, about different private individuals who invest, although some private individuals invest a lot. It could also be funds that are subject to emotions or some large companies. And if the system saw that during this time everyone had already exited, for example, from Ethereum, then Ethereum would easily be allowed to rise and it would have gone much higher without passengers. And all this increasing fluctuation means that there are still passengers, and with these strong moments, they are trying to shake out the rest of the people who are sitting on the air. Look, this was the movement at the bottom of the last cycle. Let's stretch it out, since this is not a logarithmic chart. And here in general, a similar situation was observed. People entered at peak values, the movement went down and up. Then, a bear market, we stayed at the bottom for a long time. Just the same, such fluctuation up and down. If you stretch it out more, there was quite a significant fluctuation here as well, from $80 per ether to 360. That is, people also experience these negative emotions. And when we went down at some point back to the same point where we started, the person, upon reaching the top, it was the most extreme point where he decided that was it. He needed to exit this ether because it would continue like this, or maybe everything would go down. But I will also experience a bunch of such negative moments. And the person exits either here or there. And the system sees that there's no need to push ether down anymore. No need to dump. It's all done. All the passengers have exited, and it started printing these green candles. And all the people who exited, yes, they woke up in the morning or even a month later and looked at all of this. They scratched their heads and realized that, as always, it left without them. And guys, this concerns not only spot trading, but also futures trading. Futures are just an intensified version of experiencing emotions. Those emotions that you might experience in spot trading, but there, it's more intense, especially if you use leverage. And just for fun, probably many have tried. If they opened a demo account on futures, tried trading, even if they were beginners, not particularly knowledgeable in technical analysis, they managed to trade with about 80% success rate in profit. You'll even find it amusing. Open a demo mode. This is by no means an encouragement to trade futures, but you'll simply understand that the main enemy is within you, and if you learn to deal with it, you'll be profitable both in futures and in spot trading. As I repeat again, if a person opens a demo account for futures, they somehow trade profitably on the demo account. But when they start trading with real money, that's when the person starts to fuss and make mistakes. And these are mistakes they didn't make on the demo account. And they can't do anything about it. Now guys, all these words of mine, remember your emotions during spot trading or futures trading that you experienced, and you will find a lot of confirmation of my words. And those people, those investors or those traders who didn't break down, who continued to trade. There are such people, for example, who tried to start some business, it doesn't work out for them, and they think, for instance, this is not for me, forget it, I'll do something else, either in investments or trading. They, for example, lose some initial deposit, then say, oh, this is not for me, this is all a scam, crypto is a scam, and start investing in stocks. And then say, stocks are also a scam. Trading is also a scam. They quickly leave the market, so you could say they were slightly taken advantage of. They were taken advantage of in the market and then let go. But those persistent people who continue in any business, it doesn't matter which, to achieve the next steps, that is, to understand why they were set back in some business, to upgrade themselves, and to move forward despite losses, well, that's the path to earning, guys. Moreover, if we take Bitcoin specifically, the path to earning also involves understanding that there are these cycles in Bitcoin, that there is a bear market, a bull market, and there are moments when we are entrenched in the market. You need to sit and make reverse movements, meaning you need to feel when euphoria starts, you should exit the market, and that's it, not enter, hold stable coins. And when there is maximum negativity in the market, when they try to shake you out, that's when you need to buy with these stable coins, which is what I've been doing for the past few years. And this video, guys, these are kind of small life hacks that, well, seem uninteresting. Many people know them. But guys, I think this is 80% of success in any case. For the 10 years that I've been analyzing Bitcoin, since 2016, from the middle, I've been analyzing Bitcoin daily. But I was following Bitcoin even earlier. I only had it on Telegram. Back then, there was only one Telegram channel. And the Telegram chat was called Crypto Radar. Back then, almost no one was on Telegram. There were about 2-3 bloggers on YouTube. And from those moments, I started to watch and notice these patterns. Well, I had been trading futures for 20 years, even on Forex. Everyone was trading there. Back then, I also noticed all these patterns that were happening in Forex trading. Because, guys, it's all the same. And who do I consider myself to be? I may not be a super professional in this field, but the things I've told you, I think, will influence your success by 80%, whether you earn or not in this crypto market. So in addition to some kind of analysis, technical analysis, guys, is not complicated. It seems like there are a bunch of formulas, this and that, like moving averages. That's the whole technical analysis. You just need one indicator and understand that Bitcoin moves back and forth, back and forth. But the foundation is to sort out your own mind, your own psyche, and understand that soon they will be pushing you guys again into Bitcoins, into altcoins. And then they will be shaking you out again from Bitcoin and from altcoin. And at these moments, accordingly, you shouldn't buy, yes, here at the maximum values, and you shouldn't sell at the minimum values, because that's exactly what they are waiting for from you. But it will be very difficult to do this, even if you are ready for it. Your brain will still make its own plan, yes, to trap you here at the highs, to exit the market here, because it will be uncomfortable, and this needs to be understood. And that's all. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to hear my thoughts on the price of Bitcoin and altcoins, and also install all of my 8 signal indicators. Use them to analyze the market so you can watch fewer different bloggers, including me, and experience fewer negative emotions on these swings. Also join our trading chat where people, traders, and participants share their trades if you don't feel like analyzing the market yourself. In the video description, it explains how to do this absolutely for free. Thank you to everyone who watched this video to the end. Goodbye, everyone.